Hello viewers, welcome back. This is our video number 2 under part 1 of basics of Word document. So video number 2 is going to be giving us the navigational ways through our Word document. In other words, we are going to navigate into our Word document, navigating Word. So let's get started. We are now getting started and we are looking at navigating Word document. We want to understand that Microsoft Word is a powerful word processing tool used by millions of people worldwide. So, developing skills in this application will make you more productive and efficient when completing schoolwork and projects. Word or Microsoft Word allows a user to create, edit, print, and share many different types of documents. These documents can include texts, graphics, hyperlinks, and video elements to make your work an efficient and effective form of communication with various audiences. So in this lesson, you will become familiar with the word processing, with the word application interface. But you have to remember that you will not be required to save any of your work. But as I said, you have to be memorizing some of these things, because at the end of part 1, we are going to have something like an assessment to understand the skills that we've been talking about, whether we've learned them as we've been going through these videos. So this is video 2 of part 1. So the things we expect to learn from this video is the skills that we are going to get after completing this video. We expect that we are going to understand how to create a blank document. We will understand the backstage view. We will identify ribbons, tabs, and groups. We will also change document views. We will also understand how to customize views by using zoom settings. Then lastly, we shall look at closing Word. How do we close a Word document? So those are the things that we are going to look at. And as you've seen, they are they are not all that, they are not few things that we can just say we are. So let's try to look at how we can be able to see, because we have so many things that we need to learn. So if you open your Word or your Microsoft Word, if you open it for the first time, you open it from your start screen, and the first thing you see is when you open your Word, the first thing that you will see is that first page that you are seeing on the screen right now. And what you see from there, you can actually see that we have several things that we can look at from this point. You can see that we have a list of different files. These are the recent files that you can see, as you can see from this point here. The recent files that we have here. So those are the ones you can be able to see. From up here, we have create. We have where we can create our blank document. We can use this to create our blank document. And we can see that there are other templates. And the reason as why we are seeing these other templates is because you may find yourself you are going to write something that is related to these templates that they are providing you here. And you don't necessarily need to start from scratch. So that's why you are seeing there. So you can even see from here more. You can even search and look at whatever you want to find from that point if it is not here. So you can go online and start searching the things that you want to have. But at the moment, we can create our blank document. It's where we are. This is document 2 because we've been here. We have created a second document. We just want the first one because we had created our blank document. That's how the blank document looks like. But now we want us to talk about the backstage view. The backstage view is accessed from the file section here. This is the backstage view. Whatever you are seeing from that point is what we call the backstage view. You can only access that backstage view when you click the file tab, as we've done. The backstage view is the central place for managing your documents. It's where we go if at all we want to manage our documents. Actions such as saving, actions such as printing, or opening previously saved files can also be done from this point. Because you are seeing our recent documents that we have, we can actually come and open them. These are the recent documents that I have been working on. So if you want to print, you can come here and print. If you want to save, you can come here and save. So there are so many things that we can do from that backstage view because it's where we go if at all we want to manage our documents. So we are now seeing different options. Different options are appearing depending on your selection. For example, when you come here and click on open, you will see that you will have a different screen coming up. And you will see that your computer's file folders and cloud folders appear on the screen. We are seeing these are the computer folders. This is the cloud drive where we saved our documents. These are other places. If you click on browse, you can actually look at other places where you can save your documents. So now That's the backstage view. If you click on print, you will also see the printing view. If you click on more, you will also be able to see more options. So that's what we call the backstage view. So for now, if you want to go back to your document, how do we move from the backstage view back to our page? We come and click this arrow you are seeing up here. Maybe I can take a screen. This is the arrow I'm talking about. When you click on this arrow, it takes you back to your page. That is the screen I'm talking about. Let me paste it here. That's how it looks like. So when you come on your file, you'll find this is the space we are talking about. You are seeing that when you click there, it takes you back to our page. The other option is to come to your keyboard and you click the escape key. When you click on that escape key, it's going also to take you to the same place, back to our open file. So now we are in that. We have finished launching Word and working with files. We've seen the different files and how we can actually work with them. So let's now look at how do we navigate. Let's look at the navigation path. Let's first delete this. So now I want to come back here and look at that's our page. But now, as you can see, this page looks a bit different. You may find when you come here, you have the page looks a little bit different. It depends on the version that you are using. You may find that someone has opened and it is showing these rulers, those points, these ones here and this side. That one is okay because I can also turn them on and off. So that's okay. How it looks for now doesn't really matter. What matters is that we have the open file. In other words, the application window is open. The word application window displays the working area of your document and provides access to the tools needed to enter, edit, and format text and other content. So whatever we are seeing, it's an application window, Word application window that has opened. So what we are seeing now, it is providing us all the things that we need to have that is going to help us to edit, put in new content, and also do other things. So now let's try to look at some of the application window keys. In other words, the things that we are going to use to help us edit, to help us enter, and to help us format texts and other contents within our file. We are going to look at the different things that we have. The first thing I want us to talk about is what we call the quick access toolbar. Where is the quick access toolbar? The quick access toolbar is actually commonly used, is actually something that we often use. It is where we find the commonly used commands, and it is at the top of the application window, and it can also be customized to stay visible. This is the one that we are talking about. This is the one that we refer to as the quick access toolbar. We can have maybe a print review of this so that we can be able to, this is what we are referring. This is what we are referring to. That is the quick access toolbar. These items you are seeing up here, these are the ones that we are referring to. That's the area that has the commonly used features. And we shall learn how to customize it in later videos. But I just want us to recognize that this is this and this is that. So let's now look at the second one, which is the ribbon. The ribbon, actually the ribbon, its role is actually to group the related tools in one section. In other words, it provides groups of related tools organized within a set of tabs. And these can be collapsed or expanded. So we can delete this. We now look at the ribbon. This is the ribbon we are talking about, the whole of this. Let me just take a print screen of the ribbon. Starts from this point. The whole of that point is what we call, that's what we call the ribbon. Let's first put the view lines and we try to extend this a bit. So this is the whole of this idea. The whole of this item is what we call, that's what we are talking about. That is the one that we are talking about. That's the ribbon that we are talking about. Can maybe try to zoom in. We adjust it a bit. That's what we call the ribbon. It's that is going to give us the list of related items. It puts them in a tab. These tabs, they have related items that we can actually collapse. So like for file tab, it takes us to the backstage view. The home, it gives us all these sections that you are seeing. So the insert is giving us also different options. The layout is also giving us different sections. The reference is also giving us different sections. So that's what we call the ribbon. Then the third one is the program window controls. So this was the ribbon. Now let's try to look at the program window controls. In other words, the word controls. These word controls, they allow you to move, resize, and close the application window and customize ribbon display options. It is from this point up here, the whole of this idea, this item is what we call the program window controls. Let me just take a print screen. We have a little bit this and we know what we are talking about exactly. So it is from this point, this is what we are talking about. That's the item that we are talking about. So that's the item that we are talking about. That's it. That's what we call the program window controls. It can help you to resize, you can delete. It can help you to resize, like the way you're seeing, I've resized it. It can help you to maximize it. So you can also cancel from this point. So that's what we call the window control. So the fourth one is what we call the share control. The share control. So there are those that are going to be having that item for sharing. Supposed to be around here. This item here. This only item you're here. It has share document. This one, if I first maybe collapse that a bit, is what we call the share. Others are going to have it in terms of something. You may have maybe something, a certain symbol of a human being here, and there is a word share. But for these newer versions, we have it in this format. So it is that. Let me take just a print screen of that only item that I'm talking about. This is how it is. It looks like. So that's it. That's the share control. It allows you to share information to the different people. It allows you to share that very document with other users. So from that point, it can help you to know who the document has been shared with. Then others, you may also have an option for comment. You may have option here for a comment. It will also look like, for those older versions, it looks like this one. For it, it says comment. You may have two options there for those that are using older versions, because that one only allows you to send and respond to comments in a document. But we know how those we can actually do them. Some of the things, if you don't see if I mention maybe like the comment, if you don't see it here, it doesn't mean it is completely not there. It's there. From these tabs, you can actually access some of those options. Just like the same way you are seeing my Word document is opening without those rulers, and I can only put them from this point. So it's something that you will see, and you find yourself a little bit worried. So don't get worried. These things, it's just a change in software. If this changes, you find other things have been included in different tabs. That's why I said there must be, you may find when there are some slight changes, but that doesn't mean that you are using a wrong version. So now someone may be wondering, where is that option that we call the page? The page is this white sheet here you are seeing. The whole of this is what we call a sheet. Sorry, a page. This white one you are seeing on the screen, this is what they call a page. That's the page. The area on which your content appears as it is entered and formatted. If you see, when you type, your things can't just exceed that point. Maybe they can't exceed there. Where they are is actually what we call the page. That's the page. Then let's look at maybe the last part of this. Let's look at the last part of this point, the one that we call the view controls. those that can help you add just zooming, where you can zoom in and zoom out of that document, as well as select the view, the different view option. This is the point that we call the view controls. Can maybe try to take print screen of that. You see what we are talking about is this point right here. So that point, that's the point that we are talking about. That's the point that is going to allow you to increase the zoom level, like the way you're seeing. I'm increasing the zoom level of the paper, and I can reduce it. I can increase it to any margin I want. So that's it. The other one is, it is going to allow us to change the view options. We have, from this point, we are seeing that we are in that item of the print. This is the print layout. In other words, that's the format if you are to print. This is the read mode. That's how it looks like. Though we don't have anything here, we would have seen it right. Then there is that format, which is the web format. So those options, they are also there. So those are the things that we can look at from the application window. Those are the things that we can learn from that. Then let's now try to break these things a little bit to a point where we are going to be talking about the ribbon parts. In other words, let's focus on those ribbon alone, because it's what is going to help us to navigate well. Because if you know where to go, you can actually be able to reach out to those different parts. And the only way we can do that is by actually knowing where to go when you need to do something. So let's try and look at, let's delete this for now because we have seen it. We shall come back maybe to it later. Can delete it. So let's bring back our ribbon. Let me just take a print screen of the ribbon. Let me paste it there. Can try to reduce maybe the zoom levels. Take it back to 100. So hope we can be able to see from that point. So we are going to be, so now we go back to that's the whole ribbon. So we are going to look at Word ribbon interface. In other words, these people were using Word. In other words, we are going to be having the Word ribbon user interface, and it is the one that is going to keep the related tools organized and easily accessible. So we want now to look at some of the things that you are seeing in there. So the ribbon parts, we have part A. We may talk about, it's called a tab. Now we are talking about the parts of the ribbon. The tab, a tab is a tab is tab, or using small letters as tab like that. That's what I'm talking about. Tab. A tab is the one that displays the ribbon's name and contains related groups of different tools and commands to perform the most common tasks. In other words, it's that tab that we are going to click on that will enable us to display all the related tools and commands that we can use to perform a given task. So if I come on this home and I click on home, that's a home tab. If I click on insert, that is insert tab. If I click on design, that is a design tab. But if you click on that home tab, it is going to display all the different groupings that we can use to do a given task. And what are those groups? The groups, these groups, they contain related features and tools organized within the ribbons tab. In other words, for me to get a font, if I want to get a font color or a font face or a font size, I have to come to a font, the grouping, which is, I have to come to the home tab, but under the home tab, I will select the font group. And that's what we call the group. In Excel, we call them sections, the font section. But in Word, we call them groups. So they are going to be, let me maybe take a screen, a print screen of that small section that I'm talking about. So the whole of this, from this point up to here, let me paste it here. This is what we call the print, that is the grouping. It's now the group of the font group, because here it is shown it would be font section, but now we call it font group. This is the font group, but this font group is under the home tab, is under the home tab. That's the meaning. So when you click on any given tab, it will display those different groupings. But now, within these groupings, we have what we call the drop-down menu. And this drop-down menu allows you to select a command from a list of different options. Like the way you are seeing from this font color, this font group. What now we want to do, we only want to get the font color. Meaning a font color is a subset of the font group. So if I want that, I have to use this arrow you are seeing here, this one. If I want a color, I have to use this arrow you are seeing here. If I click on that, it's going to help me display those things. That's the menu that I'm going to use when I'm picking any font color I want. If I come to this, the same for the fill color, it will be the same. If I come to these upper cases and lower cases, I'll have to click on that drop down arrow. So that's the drop down arrow. So that drop down arrow, as you are seeing from this point, that's what is going to help us go through the different commands that we have from a list of the different options. So the other thing I want us to also understand is this arrow you are seeing this horizontal arrow you are seeing here. The difference between this arrow and this one is that this arrow here, the drop down menu is only giving us the list of things within that specific item. The specific item here is font color. So the drop down arrow is only going to display things related to font color alone. But for this, that arrow you are seeing that arrow is the one that we call the dialog box launcher. Is the one that we use to display the dialog box. It opens a small box or a small window with information and options about a particular tool or group. When you click on it, it is opening the entire group of font group. In other words, you can access the font color. You can also have some advanced features within that same dialog box, which is not the case with the drop-down menu. Hope we've been able to get the difference from that perspective. But now, there is also some other thing that we need to look at. They are called icons. Because these things, the reason as why we are talking about them, we are going to be discussing about them. These other items you are seeing without these drop-down arrows, they are called icons. This AB is an icon. The strike through is an icon. These ones with drop-down arrows, those ones they are not icons, but this one which are single items that are there, they are icons. So we can click on them to display what we want. So what we've now learned is that the tools are organized within tabs. And these tabs, they are the ones that contain groups of related features and commands. We've also seen that graphical icons or menu items control the editing and formatting of a Word document. And we've seen that some tools or groups have additional options accessible from the different drop-down menu or the dialog box launchers as we've seen them. So we can come and delete these things because we have practically went through each of them. So now that's how we've been able to go through that idea of looking at the ribbon parts. But now let's put more emphasis on the page itself. This page, because this is the page that we say this is the page. That white part is what we call the page. So maybe you can take a print screen to see the page. The reason is why we are taking these print screens because we want these things to actually make sense to everyone. I'm highlighting the whole of it because there is something I want to explain. It looks to be a little bit big, but can try to maybe minimize it. It has brought in these other Zoom things, but we no need to worry. We just want to learn something here. That's the page that we are talking about. So The word page is where texts and other content is entered, edited, and formatted. Pages have margins within which content is aligned. So the reason why I'm bringing up this is because we are seeing we have margins. These are margins within which our content is supposed to be aligned. So one of the things I want us to identify and look at is what we call the indent marker. The indent marker is the one that allows you to indent paragraphs to a desired location. The indent marker is this point right here, this point here. These are the indent marker, the one you're seeing me moving, the one you're seeing I'm moving. It's what we call the indent marker. Let me try to zoom in a little bit. These are the indent markers. I've picked the whole of it. That is the indent marker. But now there are two. There is left indent and right first line indent. Then there is the hanging indent. But the whole of it is called indent marker. And we've seen its role is just to let us know where the paragraphs are going to start from. Because now if I push it and I start typing, you see? Now if I put it back, of course I have to adjust the upper one to see that it is coming to the same point. So I can choose to say that the next one is going to be moving in a different direction. So it is the one that is going to let you know how you are going to indent those paragraphs. Because you may find a Word document that is indented in a different ways, and you have to use that indent marker to indent those paragraphs. So the other thing is the horizontal ruler. This is the horizontal ruler as it is moving horizontally like this. This is a ruler. That's why when I came to view here, I clicked on ruler. When I uncheck that, it disappears. But if I check it again, it comes back. It means it's a ruler, the whole of it. This one moving horizontally is a horizontal ruler. The one moving vertically is the one that we call the vertical ruler. But now, we want to understand something. What are the ones that we call the page margins? The page margins are these points. These points where you are seeing this cursor starting. There is also this. Meaning, this, because now you are seeing, if I try to put this from this point, it can't go. Meaning the page has already moved to that point. So this item from here to here and from here to here, those are the page margins. Those page margins, they are those blank spaces that are set around the edges of the page. These ones you are seeing, we are setting from these blank spaces that you are seeing from this. When I move it this side, I'm just creating a margin. So that's what we call the page margins. Then there is also the insertion section. It's actually, the insertion section is this point where you're seeing that cursor. It is that point where we start typing the text. You see, whatever we type, where it starts, that's what we call the insertion point. It indicates the position on the page where the text and the content is placed. Hope we have been able to discuss those different items that are within the page itself. In other words, we need to understand those page key. The page key is very important to understand. Then we are also going to look at the view controls. Though we spoke about them, the view controls, we said these view controls, they are the ones that we saw down here. We can take a print review, print screen. These points here, these ones we saw them. Can maybe paste them here. This is what we are talking about. The view controls. They are also very important because they give you the different view options. Now, this part you are seeing here, from this point to this point. Anyway, let me also take a print screen of that. Same item, but I'm stopping somewhere. This point, this one you are seeing, is the point that is going to help us to view the document options. Actually, it is called the document view options. It allows us to select document view options that include the read mode, print layout, and that's our default. Then the web layout. These options, along with outline and draft view, can also be found in the view tab. From the views group, we can also try to go to those view controls and look at them. From the view tab, under the view group, this is the view group. From here up to here is a view group. So we are seeing there is outline and there is also draft. We are seeing read mode, print layout, then web layout. And those options, we can access them from also this point. When I go there, they will also disappear. When I come to this point, you'll find that they are also rotating from this to this. But we want that. So hope we have understood that. Then now, this last part, because we have removed this one, now this last part is what we call the zoom adjustment. It adjusts zooming in and out of the document. We can actually try to zoom in and we can also try to zoom out of that particular document. So that's what we have from that point. Then let's look at now the status bar. The status bar is this item. Let's first delete this and this. We look at now the status bar. We can take a print screen. The status bar is this point. That point you are seeing with those words. That's what we call the status bar. It is down here at the bottom left corner. That is the status bar. And those status bar has different options as you are seeing. We have the option for page numbers. This one, you are seeing page 1 of 1. Page 1 out of 1. We have also the count, word count. This is 0 words because we haven't typed. But if you type in anything, you'll find that the word count is going to be changing. Then we have also this item here. That is the spelling and grammar check. So this first one, the page number displays the current page number and opens a pane that allows the user to navigate to a specific page in the document. When there are two pages, it gives you that pane to allow you have access to all the pages. You can navigate through those different pages. Then this word count, it opens a dialog box that displays the current words and character count of the file. In other words, it gives you the words and the characters. It counts them into numbers, and maybe I've now written 400 words, or what, maybe 200 words, depending on what you have written. We shall see some of those things. Then the part C, we said the spelling and grammar. It is the one that opens the proofing pen to quickly correct spellings and grammatical errors in the document. And you're seeing it is also, the language is English, United States. You can change it to English, maybe United Kingdom, or whichever language that you are interested in. So that's what I wanted us to walk through as far as the navigation or navigating word is concerned. Because as we've gone through those things, we can actually be able to understand that we have seen some of the things that can help us do well. Maybe for those who want maybe to have something like an exercise they can actually do and have something, you can try to go through the different things that we spoke about. Like, you can also try to locate the word program icon and launch Word 20, whether 2019, whether 2021, whichever version you are using of Word software. You can also select the blank document from your start screen, because when you launch your Microsoft Word, the next thing you can do is to open a blank document, or you can select from the different templates that may appear. So you may also try to locate the insertion point, and we say that's the cursor. Where you see where the cursor is flashing, you can maybe reach at that point and say that is the insertion point. So that cursor where it is, you can come and say, let me just put in my name, Cafe Charles. Just put in your name like that. That is the insertion point. You can also try to notice the movement of the cursor, because now if the cursor I've typed, but now I want to notice the movement of the cursor. When I press OK, or I hit the enter key, I will notice that the cursor will move to the next line. That's one of the things that you may also need to know. You can also try to type in something. You can also try to type in something. It is, maybe you can say it is fun getting to know. It is fun getting to know Microsoft Word. Whichever, you can also put whichever version you are using. So whichever version you are using, you can also put it there, or you are using 365. It's also okay, you can put it there. You can also press enter. You also notice where the cursor is moving. You can also try to go to backstage view when you're using the key, this file tab. You go to the backstage, you be as if you try saving, you try knowing how to save, what will appear. If you go to save as, what will appear? If you go to print, what will appear? You see what you've just typed, the print review. So you can go back using that arrow or hit the escape key. So you get to practice some of these things that we've been discussing. You can also try to go through the ribbon, the different tabs. You can also come to design tab. You go to reference, you go to review, you go to view tab. You can also try to put in grid lines. So these are some of the things that you can try to do from that point. So you can also try and change maybe some of these things, because we've been talking about the font colors. You can come to home tab and you come to this, that's we said the drop down menu. You pick, let's say we pick blue. For this one you can pick red. So you change some of those things. You see what we can also have. You can also come here and say maybe paragraph launcher. We go to that drop down launcher, you check the spelling maybe to single line, press OK. So you see, you see the things that are going to actually come out. You can also try in this zoom, this view, and you look at the read. You see now this is how the read view will look like. It is end of the document. If at all we had other things, we would also see them from that point. We can also come back to we can also go to the web. That's how the web will look like. So that's some of the things that we can actually look at from that point. But now, for now, we are not going to save the document. What we are going to learn last is how to cancel or to close the Word document. You come to this right corner here and you click on this, because we say this is the what? That's the point that is going to help us close the document. We come to this X here. When you click on it, you cancel. That's how we cancel that. So that's what we've done as far as that video number 2 is concerned. So our video number 3 within the part 1 of document basics, we want also to look at creating our first document. That will be creating your first document will be our next video, and that will be video number 3 under the part 1 document basics. We'll see you in the next video. So the overview of this lesson